Howdy, everybody. Hope y'all are having a good day. American? Yeah, I suppose I would be. I reckon that's what the southern part is referring to. How's everybody's Thursday going? Y'all doing good? Just hanging out, having a hopefully relatively relaxing day? Just reading books. Books is fun. Yeah. How's the music? Is the volume okay? Doesn't, like, overshadow me? Ooh. Scottish? Question mark? Aiden? Irish? Irish. Okay, see, that was my second guess. I was trying to think, okay, who says lass? Benji, be quiet. Oh, hi, Citron. How you doing? Well, hopefully my cat isn't too loud. Yeah, I had, that's why, the English was last, because I know, Scottish and, Irish people don't like being called, British. Ooh, well, I always strive to do interesting psychology whatchamahabits. But yeah, I feel like this is one that's like super relatable, like everyone can get, especially right now during COVID, you know? I want a more... We're gonna do this one instead. Before we get all up into the... I don't know if y'all know what it... It's pretty hilarious. But they call the fusion of country and hip-hop hick-pop. It's pretty funny. Oh, you went to bed early today. Catching up on them Z's. Yeah, well, Aiden, don't you worry. That's something that we share in common. Because Americans don't really, hick-pop. Hick-poo. Which is ironic, because hick is usually like a negative term. But enough jibber-jabbering. Who's ready to learn about some psychology? Alright. So, start off with, like, the basics. Isolation and loneliness are two kind of things that everyone experiences at some point in their life, but extended periods of isolation and loneliness can actually lead to significant health issues. Hold on. Okay, gotta put studio mode on. I'm gonna try and be professional so I'm not constantly pulling up the wrong pictures. Right. See if I can do this right. Nope. Oh, that's the benefits. Yeah, I have a... Yeah, that's understandable. The whole, issue... Oh, God, what is it? Oh, God, I can't remember. It's like a 14 equals 1 or something. I know that's like a big thing about, rejoining Ireland altogether. I am a fool and I don't have the infographic on the negative effects. 26 plus 6, yeah. I knew it was numbers plus numbers equals 1. That's my big southern brand working right there. Where'd it go? I really do need like a negative 200 IQ emoji. Where is it? Excuse me, music? Did not tell you to stop. Aw! Wait, why am I angry? Why am I angry? Thank you so much for the cheer! Oh, Aiden, and thank you for following! Yay! Did the noise go off for the cheer? Or did I just not hear it on my side? I don't know what the Irish word is, but you can use it. Alright. Really? Y'all didn't hear either of those? Oh, dear Lord. The point is that, loneliness, isolation has really bad effects on your mental health. It leads to obesity, and it can lead to long-term health issues just in general. Loneliness is actually 16 times more deadly than smoking cigarettes. Because of the way it affects your long-term mental health, which in turn affects your long-term immune system. But the extended periods of loneliness is a serious issue, especially. But loneliness isn't as simple as it might seem on the surface. It's actually pretty complex, like mental and emotional phenomenon. And it's a painful and a scary feeling to experience. And even just often remember in times when you felt like lonely or isolated or abandoned can be really painful for people. So what I wanted to briefly go over is the difference between, like, and it might seem obvious to some people, between solitude and like loneliness. So look at that, it looked pretty professional, huh? My little fade effect. But solitude is something that a lot of introverts have, is where they feel at peace with themselves and when they're alone. Introverts recover and regain their energy by being alone, while extroverts, regain their energy and feel energized by being around other people. But both extroverts and introverts obviously experience loneliness. But sometimes as an introvert, it can be hard to tell whether you're just is this being you being introverted, or is this you feeling lonely? So while being introverted is okay, I'm calm, I'm happy, I'm peace when I'm alone. But loneliness is, you don't like being alone. And that doesn't mean necessarily having to interact with people. I'd often say there's no worse feeling than feeling lonely in a room full of people. So loneliness and doesn't just mean needing to be around people. It's craving a social connection, an interaction that's meaningful to that person in some way. So going to a party ain't necessarily going to keep you of your cure you of your loneliness if you don't know anybody there. Because it's not just about physically being alone, but it's not being able to connect emotionally with other people. And to feel like you have a meaningful connection with someone. Shoot. So, the first thing I wanted to go over is some tricks to help with loneliness. So, the most important thing, which can be hard when you're experiencing it, and because getting caught up in your feelings is a pretty normal thing to happen. But loneliness is just a feeling. It's not a fact, And whether you're lonely because a memory triggered that feeling, or whether you are isolated and alone, the human brain is designed to pay attention to pain and danger, because that is what has kept us alive for so long, is to focus on things that have caused us pain. And this includes painful and scary feelings. So that's why loneliness gets our attention, and it seems really, really difficult to shake in order to combat loneliness. Is first trying to figure out why you're feeling and when you are feeling lonely. Why'd Belle win? Why'd 𝒮𝓊𝒷𝓈𝒸𝓃𝒃 win? Finding out when you feel lonely can be really key to helping figure out what the source of this loneliness might be from. So, are you feeling lonely before an event happens, during the event, or after the event? Do you feel lonely when you are alone or when you're in groups of people? These different answers can explain, these different questions may explain the kind of issue that you're facing. The example I kind of gave earlier, is that if you're feeling lonely when you're just constantly alone after an event has occurred, maybe it is because that you are more extroverted and you need to be around people more often in order to stave off this loneliness. Or is this loneliness happening during the event and when you're in groups with people? And then the source of that is most likely to be you feel like you're not having any meaningful connections, even though you are physically with people. That doesn't mean that you are emotionally connecting to the people that are there. Hold on, I'm going to drink some water. And then again, that is a good question. Once I go over the basics for normal or neurotypical people, I can go more into how that would affect, you know, like people with disorders and stuff. Oh, model, you okay there? Model? No problem, no problem. Just, you know, like, get the basic stuff out of the way, and then we can get into, like, more complicated, issues. But, another important thing to remember is that, similar to how we said that, you know, your feeling is just a feeling, it's not a fact, feelings of loneliness are often temporary. You know, these are often triggered by, like, a thought or a memory, and usually connected to, like, some sort of inner negative belief about oneself. Later on, I will talk about, like, reoccurring and consistent feelings of loneliness. But right now, a lot... Yeah. ADHD gang, rise up! So, the way that it affects extroverts and introverts is extremely different. Curing loneliness for extroverts is often seen as, quote unquote, I can't move my hands, but I'm doing air quotes, easier. But that is often because the extroverts seem to be more proactive about seeking out social situations in order to cure those feelings of loneliness. So that's why, regardless, extrovert, introvert, ambivert, whatever, the important thing is to talk to someone who you feel understands you and supports you. This is the one surefire way, obviously, to cure loneliness, by reaching out to people, but that's a lot easier said than done. The important thing is that you reach out to someone that you feel comfortable with. You know, that someone, the key thing being, who understands you and will be able to relate to where you're coming from. Because sometimes it can be hard to, as like, if your friend is extrovert and you're an introvert, it can be hard to, like, talk to them and explain your loneliness as an introvert, and they're just like, oh, we'll just be around people more. And then that can make you sometimes feel even more lonely, because then that person doesn't understand you, because you're like, that's not the issue. And the same as if your friend is an introvert, and you're like, I'm feeling really lonely, and they're like, I don't know how to help you, I'm fine being alone. And you're like, well, now you don't understand me. But another good way to help with this is to become more active. So this can be like a hobby, activity, this can be exercising, but being occupied reduces the times that you can feel lonely. Loneliness often creeps up on us when we have a lot of extra time, when we're kind of just sitting around, not really doing anything. But by keeping yourself busy and productive, it allows you less time to kind of sit and muddle in these negative feelings, you know? Similarly, not yet. We simply need, I would say, await one more follower, and something like that may simply magically appear. Who knows? That would be really weird, huh? That there's a super secret surprise at 100 followers. It would be really weird. Hint, hint. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Don't worry, Aiden, there will, maybe, possibly, oh man, who knows, be one relatively soon. Yes. I suppose that's kind of... Yeah. Yeah, don't y'all worry. It's coming real soon. But a lot of these infographics kind of cover the same thing. And as much as I would love to just talk for all of eternity, I feel that these are slightly more engaging than just listening to me ramble on. So we kind of already went over like observing the feeling, trying to figure out when and where. What? No, I turned the bot on. I'm on it. I'm on it. Bot is on. Yeah, no, I totally get that. Oh, excuse me. I would, it was hard in the beginning. Oh! 𝒮𝓷𝓬𝒃𝓃𝒃, thank you so much for the follow! Do y'all know what that means? We reached 100 followers! Yay! We did it, y'all! Woo! Yeehaw! I'm super excited. My face is I'm so excited my face is freaking out. We now, the super special surprise, we got a Discord. Let me go grab that bad boy link. There we go. After stream? No, I think I should drop it in now at least so that at least these people can hop into it. If my neck would also stop breaking, would be awesome. Yeah, I get that, Aiden. When I was first starting out, I only had like 2 people. No, I only had 1. At first it was just Samu in my stream, and I was like, maybe this isn't really for me. Like, you know, streaming for 1 person seems like, am I wasting my time doing this? Like, is anyone gonna be really interested? But I found it to be more and more enjoyable as I started doing it, you know, to make me happy. You know, not as necessarily a way to fill up the loneliness, but I started thinking about it being like, well, 1, it is a way to interact with other people, especially during quarantine, but I want to stream for me, you know? If people don't come, like, that's a bit disheartening, but what matters is the 1, 2, 3 people, the 4 people who came, is that they came and they enjoyed my content, and that's makes me at least feel better than if I hadn't streamed. But Fall Guy 6942, thank you so much for the follow. We have we have 2 Fall Guys. Thank you so much. Well, welcome aboard. Unfortunately, this is not Fall Guys. But this is therapy. We're talking about how to cope with feelings of loneliness. So if you want to stick around, awesome. If you need to go find Fall Guys, I understand. You lot are very insistent on finding your Fall Guys. Oh, hey, Fall Guys 6969. This is not Fall Guys. This is therapy. Talking about, isolation and coping with feelings of loneliness. Yeah, I get that, Eden. And those kind of days can be really difficult. Both the Fall Guys, both the legends are here. But then the important question to ask yourself is, what is the purpose of you streaming? Is it because you want to talk to the people? Or is it because you just want to put your content out there? And the other thing is, which it should come up later. Actually, this should be a good transition point to that specific one. Yeah, and that's the important part. No, we already did that one. That's not the one. Where is it? Ah, it is on this one. Hello? I disappeared. It's a magic trick. I'm back now. One of the things, it was on the... it was on the image that had been on stream. And I didn't even... But talking about... Yeah. I totally get that. It makes you feel good to know that you were able to help someone have a good time. And that someone enjoyed your stuff. But then there are the times when people don't show up. And so it's important to, these last two is, one, to learn to be able to tolerate the feelings of loneliness. So don't always try and focus on changing the feeling. Like, sometimes it can be, by constantly trying to suppress your loneliness can often make that loneliness feel worse. Sometimes you just need to sit down and you need to feel it. You just need to let yourself fully immerse yourself in that feeling. Let yourself feel the loss and the sadness of being alone, and then watch it as it goes. Feelings are always temporary, and sometimes you just need to let yourself experience those emotions instead of constantly trying to either suppress them or distract yourself with something else. And the best way that you can learn to sit through these emotions is, and I'm still struggling to do this too, to nurture this connection with yourself. So, engaging in new and fun activities on your own, but not to distract yourself. But the important part is that, and I hate this saying with all of my being, but it's true. At the end of the day, and I hope saying this comes across in the way that I want it to. No matter what, at the end of the day, you are always going to have yourself. And you are always going to have to be alone with yourself. So you need to learn to love yourself and to be okay with being by yourself. The only person who is going to be with you for your entire life is you. And we need to learn to accept that person and to love that person and to be comfortable, not only with, but as that person. If you learn to be able to view yourself as your own friend, then you are never alone. But that is not something that's easy. Not a lot of people can really come to terms with that. And so it is by promoting, like self-care and self-love that we step closer to attaining that. Because so many of us, when we feel lonely, when we feel sad, reach out to other people to heal us. But in the end, no other person can heal you. You have to heal yourself. They can help you, but at the end of the day, it's you. Yeah. But that's a really good thing. Because you put yourself out there. You forced yourself to experience something new. And you decided that it was more worth it to try and connect with people than it was to run the risk of feeling lonely. That's not the safe option. The safe option is just saying, I'm used to it, and what's the point of trying? The fact is that you put yourself out there, and you should feel proud of yourself for doing that. That's not easy. It's not easy to try and reach out to other people, to the world, to the internet when you're feeling lonely. It's easier often just to curl up and in on yourself and to just say, well, this is what my life is now. By putting yourself out there, you risk getting hurt and being rejected. And so it shows that the inner strength that you have, that you were willing to run that risk in order to find a meaningful connection. And that's what we should be doing. Like the second point says, is the reason you're feeling lonely is because you value connecting with other people. And so by running the risk of, not being able to connect with people, you put yourself out there and enable yourself to do that. And there's a lot of different ways. It's hard now because, there's a pandemic going on. But there are a lot of different things you can do to seek those connections. Family, really close friends. Volunteering is a really great way to just, in general, honestly, if you're feeling lonely and sad, there's nothing quite like volunteering, because not only do you get out there, you work with other people, you often see people who are in a less fortunate situation than you are, and so it makes you feel thankful for what you have, and then you're able to help someone. And nothing feels quite as good as helping others, or making someone else happy, or being able to make someone smile, or make their day better. And I'm not saying you have to go and become like a human rights activist, but the one thing I love doing is I love animals. So I like to volunteer at my local animal shelters. You can even volunteer at Petco and PetSmart to take care of the animals that they have on the displays. Volunteers are the ones who run that. Most Petcos, well, again, pandemic, every Sunday there are usually adoption fairs. You can volunteer. You can sign up to volunteer to work at the adoption fairs. Honestly, Aiden, same. I just gotten back from college. All of my friends who were in college moved away. Didn't live where I live. and you know, eventually our communication kind of fell apart. And really, until I came onto Twitch, I hadn't talked to any. But for my younger viewers, college is a really, really great time to be able to meet new people and make new connections. My college years were a bit rough, and I wasted a lot of my opportunities to do that. Now, I'm not talking about going and partying your brains out or anything like that, but it provides a very unique environment to foster relationships that last for a really long time. Especially once you get your major, because now you're in a group of people who have similar interests, similar job careers, and boom, you already have something to talk about with them. Yeah, why do you think there's so many college reunions? You know why that's such a big thing? Because you make really important friends in college. And I can't stress that enough. But sometimes that... Exactly. All of my mom's, like, best friends are from college. But unfortunately, my college experience got split up between 2 different schools, so I wasn't able to make those kind of connections as well as I would have wanted. So, I would like to briefly veer back onto topic, to go over these 6 steps for dealing with loneliness. This is going to be a slideshow. I've never done slideshow before, so if my entire stream explodes, I'm sorry. Okay. Alright, I can do this. Okay. Pacham. Did I do it right? Okay. Nothing's exploded yet. Oh my god! 𝒮𝓷𝓬𝓲𝓪, thank you so much for the follow! Wow, to think that I have been noticed by such a big VTuber. I know, I'm sorry. This is my fault. I get too distracted. Serenading me? But yeah, Ryu, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm surprised that you really even knew about me. Therapy Thursday is popping off today. Y'all hear this? Do y'all hear it? It's calling. Country road. Ooh. Older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country road. Hey, fellow Californians. Yeah, I feel like for some reason California accent is like the normal accent, like the bass accent. Oh, Virginia or West Virginia? Oh, good. Well, as if we would welcome someone to Virginia or West Virginia any other way than country road. But this is like a smooth tropical with a sax. Sweet Home Alabama. Oh. Yeah, most likely. No one actually speaks like that, though. I will say I was a bit disappointed how little surfer dude talking there was. Hollywood had lied to me. Ooh. Having such a thick accent myself, it's not very easy for me to do accent. Ooh. On the East Coast? Probably, maybe in the 2000s. When the word radical was actually used. Unfortunately, Valley Girl is, more accurate. Bring back Radical 2020. How about we bring back Bodacious instead? Because I think 2020 has been pretty radical, if you know what I mean. We'll bring back Bodacious. Take me home, country road. Country road, home, country road. All right, gotta stop getting distracted. Okay, we are therapying it up again, y'all. I'm stop enabling my distracting. All right. So, step numero uno. Gotta acknowledge your feelings. That's the first step to any problem, is admitting that there is a problem. And it is the same. What? Oh. What? Wait, what? Did that just actually happen? Well, because that's my fucking reaction. Bitch, what the fuck? What the? Stop! What? What is happening? What is happening? What the fuck are y'all doing? Is this real life? Is this real life? Is this somehow a troll? I'm legitimately... I just got Hod and Samu did a tier 3. I'm being, oh god, I'm being rated too? What, oh god, too much is happening. I'm not emotionally prepared for this. First Rio follows me and now this? That, oh, yes, because that is my reaction that anyone would tier 3 subscribe to me. I apologize if it is a bit startling, but so is the idea that anyone would tier 3 subscribe to me. I mean, I can, obviously, I'll change it eventually, but like, I was setting up the notifications, and I was like, well, no one's gonna do this, so I'm gonna just put my reaction if someone did, and that is legitimately my reaction. Okay. I don't even know what the dole means, but that's fine. I don't expect anyone to subscribe at all. How did this happen? I'm gonna wake up in my bed, aren't I? And this is gonna be a dream. Samu! What do you think I've been literally doing this entire time? I know, but like, I didn't know when that was gonna be. I can't. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, weeb. No, I mean, all that I care about is just, you know, people. I'm honored enough that people just follow me and listen to me ramble off topic for God knows how long. Thank you so much, Samu. Oh! You just came so you wouldn't know. But obviously, tier 3, we reached 100 followers. And so, the super special surprise. We got a Discord. And there should be Twitch integration, Samu, so you should get a super special, like, title. You and Hod both. But I can't thank you and Hod enough. I hope that I can produce the content that will make you proud and make you worthy of this support. Thank you so much. That's fun. I always love me dank memes. Thank you. Thank you. If only my stupid emote would get approved. Though my emotes are in the Discord. Words. We make this. Wait, hold on. This one? Le gasp. But seriously, y'all, I can't even thank y'all enough. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. If you couldn't tell. It really means a lot to me. Pat, pat. Oh, my entire body just wigged out. Aw. Thank y'all. In honor of that, I will actually start talking about therapy again. Because God knows I've been tangenting. Okay. So, whew. Man, my heart is racing. Shut up, Weeby. Brain fixing time, exactly. So, the first step you gotta do when you're feeling lonely is to acknowledge those feelings. The first step to fixing any problem is admitting that there is a problem. Often loneliness is caused because you feel like you are emotionally disconnected from yourself and from the rest of the world. Lonely isn't just, a physical, like, you need to physically be around people. It is, what you are craving is the connection that you have with people, or that you could have with people. Okay, does this work? Oh, it does work. Ooh, look at this fancy slideshow. All right. The second thing you need to do is evaluate your circumstances. Ask yourself these kind of questions. So, why am I feeling lonely? When is it am I feeling lonely? Where? What can these kind of things tell you? So, one of the previous things we went over is, are you feeling lonely when you're with people? You're at an event? Or do you feel lonely when after the event, has occurred? Do these feelings of loneliness mainly happen when you're alone? Or do they often happen when you're with other people? These kind of things will help you figure out what is the issue that you're facing. If you find that you're feeling lonely often during an event, or when you are with other people, it is because you are craving that connection, that emotional connection with someone that you are not getting. Being physically around people isn't enough. That isn't what cures loneliness. I said it earlier in the stream, but nothing is worse than feeling lonely in a room full of people. And so, if that's the kind of situation that you're in, it's because you are craving a more meaningful interaction and connection with people. If you find that you're often getting really lonely after events occurs, when you're often by yourself, this means that you have meaningful connections, but you're not engaging in them enough. These are often attributed to being extroverted and introverted, but loneliness that stems from after an event is often coming from the the sadness, that one has to, like leave their friends, that you have to remove yourself from that, emotional connection. It's important to be able to identify, like, why you are feeling this way, when and where you're feeling lonely, and how often you get that way. The how often part is also really important, because this will help you determine if this is, just an episode, feeling lonely. Everyone feels lonely sometimes. Loneliness is a feeling, and it will go away in time. But if you are finding that you are experiencing this often and it is reoccurring, this might be a signal that there is a deeper problem at hand. Another thing is, loneliness can come from having too high of expectations of yourself or others. So you need to question, what kind of standard are you putting other people to? Like, what expectation do you have of yourself and your others? And are these realistic and attainable? I know often I put way, way, way too high of expectations on myself, which only further lowers your self-esteem, which then makes you not want to seek out, meaningful relationships because you feel you are unworthy. But if you're also putting real high expectations on other people, expecting them to, be able to read your mind or instantly want to become best friends with you, I know a common frustration is often, why am I always the one who has to reach out, huh? Why does nobody ever reach out to me? That kind of feeling? Is that a realistic and obtainable ooh, my throat. Expectation to put on someone else? Like, is that reasonable to put all of the responsibility of cultivating a friendship onto another person? You also have to contribute to that too. They're not gonna know that you want to hang out with them if you don't let them know. Hold on. Ooh. Unrealistic expectations about yourself and others might be fueling these thoughts of loneliness. If you think too low of yourself and you think you expect too much from others, you're gonna be disappointed on both ends. Now, I'm not always the biggest fan of, especially the way this is phrased, stop wallowing in self-pity. I don't like the way that is phrased. I think because whenever I hear that makes me feel bad. It makes me feel guilty. Because sometimes you need to engage in self-pity, And if you're having a shitty life and you're in a shitty, situation, I don't think it's bad to feel bad for yourself when life's giving you a shit hand, But the issue comes is, so I guess I would rephrase it as what's the best way to, catchy way? Don't become absorbed in feeling sorry for yourself. Aiden, that is a fat mood. That is me too. Especially if you already have a disorder, especially something like depression, it's not just as easy as stop wallowing in self-pity. The important part is learning when and how much to engage in this. Because a little bit of self-pity is okay. Sometimes it can make you feel better. But if that's all you do, that's not helping you. And so while the suggestion, immediately stop blaming yourself for your problems and stop comparing yourself with other people, with how other people live their lives, that's a really good thing to do. It's really, really hard to do. That is not an easy thing to do. At all. But the important thing, I mean, like, feel free. If you're interested in that kind of stuff. But the important thing is for baby steps. To start off, you are not entirely to blame for your problems. And so, while that's not saying you're not responsible for your problems at all, it's about taking small steps in order to gradually build to the point where you don't feel guilty for everything that's happening to you. So, yeah, I mean, not everyone has, like, amazing, perfect self-confidence. And self-confidence is something that is built throughout a lifetime. I mean, I'm in my 20s and I still don't even have, like, full self-confidence. It's something that's always changing. But an important thing that is really important, but is, again, really difficult, and especially can be difficult with social media, is everyone posts, their best self on social media. And so, once you see, like, all of these people having this great time, having fun, and, oh man, look at how great their life is, it can make you feel really shitty about yourself, especially if you're feeling lonely. It's really easy to just look out and be like, well, look at all these other people who have friends and I don't have friends. Like, what am I doing wrong that everyone else can have friends but I can't? That's not how that works, right? Other people, you don't know what their lives are going through. You might look at them and say, oh man, look at what great friends they are, but really, they don't really like each other. They're just maintaining this friendship out of a sense of obligation. And the important thing is that you are not other people, Why would you hold yourself up against someone who could be nothing like you? Like, I'm not comparing myself to Beyonce. I'm not being like, well, why is my life not like Beyonce's? Because that's just unattainable. We're on two completely different places. Yeah. People's relationships with each other, and to themselves are very, very complicated. And so expecting your life to be like everyone else's, not only are you kind of just glossing over, making it seem like everyone else is living a peachy life, but it's not always attainable, Sometimes you're just not in the right mental space to be making, like, these kind of connections. And so, but by constantly being like, oh, well, I should have this because everyone else has friends, is not a helpful way of looking at the situation. It is viewing the problem in a consequences-driven sense, being like, oh, well, I don't have any friends, instead of viewing the problem in a positive outcome sort of sense. So it's saying, I don't have any friends, that must be because I'm a bad person, instead of saying, I don't have any friends, what can I do to fix that? What can I do to make more friends? What can I do to create those kind of connections that I'm desperately craving? Always should be your number one priority. So try and redirect your focus on your goals and deepest passions. But again, don't do this in order to distract yourself or to cover up your feelings. Because by just trying to hide or push away or ignore your feelings will not make them go away. But if you try and do this in a way to foster, like, positivity and joy in your life, then go right ahead. But to simply use it as as a distraction, one, will not only make the task become less enjoyable for you over time, because it will become associated with feeling bad, But it's just, you're kicking the can down the road, you know? And lastly, it's important to take responsibility, especially for the things that you can do and that you can change in your life. It's important not to give up hope, not to just say, well, there's nothing I can do about it. This is the way my life is. This is just the way it's going to be. So it's important to try and continue to build up that hope and to commit yourself to making small changes that will help you connect with other people. Because that's the only way that the problem is going to be fixed. So, I wanted to briefly kind of like summarize everything that we've gone over. And this infographic does a pretty good job of it. So, we started off with talking about how feeling lonely and isolated isn't good for your health. It's associated with, higher depression. It weakens your immune system. It can lead to heart disease, dementia. It's like 16 times more dangerous than cigarettes, and it can overall lead to an early death by creating, I apologize. That's the doorbell. But I'm not getting the door. Because screw that. Okay. Here are some things that you can, Thank you. So, the next thing to ask is, how can you tell if you are at risk? So, the important things to consider, is that you will probably have to make more of a concerted effort to be active and to foster connections if you live alone or you can't leave your home, like all of us in this pandemic. If you often feel alone or disconnected from others, if you had a recent major loss or a change in your life, caregivers are very susceptible to this. And overall, you feel like you lack a sense of purpose. So, here are some ideas we can do for staying connected. Oh. Well, I'm glad they did, and I'm glad you're here with us now. And that's the important part. So a lot of these will be difficult because we can't get into like social gatherings. But finding an activity that you enjoy or like trying to learn a new skill or something is a good way to try and meet people with similar interests. Exercise in general decreases stress and boosts your mood. So things like yoga or, going for a jog are really helpful. I mentioned before, volunteering is really, really helpful because not only does it help other people, but it makes you in turn feel better by helping others. And it's like killing two birds with one stone. Staying in touch with family, friends, and neighbors, whether it be in person, online, or by phone. So, I'm not even always the best at this, but even if it's just to text a friend, yeah, online does count. Not all, interaction and social interaction needs to be physical. Needs to be in person. You can still develop a connection and a friendship with person without ever seeing them. That's not what creates friendship. So, whether it be an online friend or even a friend you haven't talked to in a while, especially since, the world's on fire right now, just being able to reach out and be like, hey, just wanted to make sure everything's okay. Like, let me know if you need anything. But having at least someone to reach out to, and stay in touch with is incredibly integral. Because once you completely cut all, like social ties, social interaction ties, it's a lot harder to build that back up again. And this is really important. And I can't recommend it enough. Consider adopting a pet. Animals are such a great source of comfort. And not only that, they can lower stress, reduce blood pressure, and they can significantly relieve feelings of loneliness. Now, there are some people, due to the circumstances or the living situation, they can't have pets. But even if it's just getting a hamster, having something to take care of and to nurture will make you feel... Yeah, I just meant as like an example. I just can't recommend it, like, enough. Animals are a wonderful source of comfort. And maybe if you can't have one, I recommend volunteering at animal shelters, at, like, Petco, at wherever you can, because being around animals is incredibly therapeutic. Honest to God. That's why animal therapy is a very big and popular thing. Well, I just also really love animals. But nothing helps me than when I'm feeling lonely than just cuddling up with my cat, My dog doesn't like cuddles, so I would cuddle with her if she would let me. But just being there and being able to, like, pet him and have him be happy makes me feel better. Because, he's fluffy and he's a cat and I love him. Well, having a pet isn't going to cure you of all of your depression, It's just a something that can help. Getting a cat isn't going to fix all of your laugh problems, But they are a good way to, one, not only provide comfort, but they can be there to support. And they often provide an emotional support, whether you know it or not. But yes, getting an animal won't fix your problems. So don't go adopting a pet thinking like, hey, if I get this dog, I won't be depressed anymore. It's not how it works. The depression is much more complicated than just, I need Fluffy. But they certainly help. Well, it's not like you would feel a difference or anything. You had animals your whole, like, you had him, like, before the depression part. If I'm reading it correctly. But it can also depend on the animal's personality type. If they're not super affectionate, it can be more difficult. But studies show that even just having an animal to take care of can significantly reduce levels of depression and risk of suicide in people. Now, obviously, that's not to say that it's going to work for every single person on the face of the planet, but studies show that it works for like 80% of people. Well, if you recently got him, then you haven't had enough time to develop an emotional connection with him yet. Is my stream lagging? Am I lagging? Yeah, you haven't even had him a year yet. Oh, give the poor puppo some time. I mean, and even if it doesn't work. Flash. That's cute. That's a cute name. Like, and it may not work, you know? You might be the 20% of people that it doesn't work for. But I at least personally contest that it definitely worked for me. You know? During the hardest parts and the deepest parts of my depression, when I felt like no one understood me and no one cared about me and all of that stuff, I knew that I had my cat. You know? And I knew that my cat loved me. Oh no. Oh, no. And I knew that my cat loved me unconditionally, you know? And I knew that he would be sad if something happened to me. And that's what always kept me going. Because I was like, well, who is going to spend every waking moment of their day petting this cat if I'm not here? Certainly not my parents. I mean, I have an obligation to pet this cat. I can't die. I mean, he needs me. He's an attention whore and demands to be petted every second of every day. But he got me through a lot of it. And it helps a lot of most people too. But I'm sorry if upon my, yes. Mine is on my bed. He's curled up on my pillow. He's being pretty goddamn adorable, I will admit. All right. And the last thing I have, before I can finally answer Citron's question if they're still even here. Ooh, a pet owl. That sounds pretty cool. Barn owls are pretty adorable. Okay, hey, body, can we turn? And unbreak my neck? Cool. Cool beans. Alright. Baby steps to bye-bye loneliness. Are y'all ready to bye-bye loneliness? Obviously, not guaranteed to bye-bye loneliness. That is terrifying. Tarantula, that is terrifying. For some reason, this is a cursed thing and it starts on Wednesdays because God knows why. But this is a little exercise that y'all can do in order to, I believe it's a week. Ooh. Help get rid of loneliness if you're feeling it. Exactly. We're gonna kick Lonely Son out of the goddamn house. They're not even paying rent. They can't stay around. So. Oh yeah, I know, God. They look so fluffy. So. The bye-bye loneliness step plan. Starts on Wednesdays, but you can start it any goddamn day you want. So, the first day You should just spend that day checking in with yourself. Listen to your emotions throughout that day. Good way to also do this is to write your emotions and your thoughts down. That's a really good way of, helping to release them. And pay attention to the emotions when you are alone and when you are with other people. And that's all you do that day. You can go around doing everything else, but make sure that day you're paying special attention, and you're constantly kind of taking a step back and being like, whoa, wait, how am I feeling right now? Am I doing okay? Next, y'all don't know probably what Hag is, and it doesn't really matter. So, Thursday is about, providing yourself with, like, is to try and enjoy being in the moment with simple pleasures. Sensory things are often really helpful in doing this. So this is, you're having your morning cup of coffee, and then, and you're smelling the coffee, and you just kind of let yourself just be in that moment, Enjoy the smell of the coffee. Enjoy how it feels warm in your hands. Clear your mind of all of these thoughts and just let yourself go for even a brief moment. Those kind of things can be really therapeutic. Hello, Neko. All right. Next thing, we had to do the simple pleasures because we're going in hard on Friday. Beat up your inner bully. Okay, no. Okay, it says block your inner bully. Because your inner bully is you, so if you beat up your inner bully, that's probably not. So, this can be also blocking, the negative voice in your head, blocking, your inner self-critic. This day, you dedicate to every negative thought that comes in your head. Just step back and be like, whoa, wait a second. Is that really true? Does that really make sense? Make sense? I can speak words. You need to give your thoughts a reality check. And saying it out loud makes it seem kind of stupid, but when I would have negative self-thoughts and I'd be like, I'm the worst person in the whole world. I'm the worst person ever. Be like, stop, whoa. Are you really? You telling me you're worse than Hitler? Is that what you're telling me, Belle? Because I don't think that's true. That doesn't really make sense. So, you're wrong. You are not the worst person ever. So, just trying to stop your thoughts and refute them. An example I once gave before is being like, I'm so stupid. I'm an idiot. Being like, whoa, stop, pause. You got pretty good grades all throughout school. That doesn't sound like a stupid person. You managed to graduate college. I don't think an idiot would just randomly graduate college. So, why are you saying that? Why would you lie? It's trying to bring your thoughts into the light to examine them. Because once they stop just, being quick thoughts that make us feel shitty, and we actually start looking at them, they don't hold up. Being like, nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. Guess I'll go eat worms. Being like, wait, stop. Are you saying literally no one on the face of this entire planet of 1 trillion people likes you? No one thinks you're a decent person. Not a single person on this goddamn planet thinks you are moderately okay. Mood, also. This works best when it's, what do you call them? Extreme thoughts, where you're defining yourself and I am the worst, the least, the most, the blah, 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 blah. But a good way to retort that, being like, okay, I'm ugly. I can't get a girl. Being like, whoa, stop. Are you saying there has never been a girl on this entire planet? Excuse me, Nintendo, please go away. Stop giving me updates. Excuse me. Thank you, Nintendo. So, you got, hold up. You're telling me that on this entire planet, there is not one person who will ever find me attractive. Really? Yeah, and that can really mess with your... That was your self-esteem. But... Clearly, you're not ugly if you had a girlfriend in the first place. And if you've never had a girlfriend, like, the dating kind, again, being like, really? I can read into every single person who has ever met me. I can read into their mind and know for a fact none of them ever held romantic feelings for me. Every single woman I have ever interacted with in my entire life. Not a single one of them ever thought I was attractive. Am I gonna make that statement? Am I going to make the statement that no girl in the future will ever find me attractive? Well, that girl is just shitty. Sounds like an asshole. The next thing you do, because Friday is going to be really exhausting, trying to fight back and retort the negative self-thoughts can be really difficult, and it can be especially emotionally exhausting. Yeah, exactly. That day is going to be really exhausting and really tiring. And you might end up feeling like shit. Well, Aiden, that's fine. I haven't been in a relationship for 4 years. Being in a relationship is not the end-all be-all of life. Next step, though, exactly. I said it earlier, but you don't need to be in a relationship to be happy. You don't need another person to complete you. Because that puts a lot of pressure on the other person, because they are never going to be able to complete you. No other human being can do that. No other human being can fix your problems for you. Now, is it preferable to be in a relationship? Yeah. Being in a relationship is pretty good. But it doesn't speak poorly on you for not being in one. It just means, 1, haven't found the right person yet. 2, you're focusing on yourself right now. You're focusing on bettering yourself, bettering your mental health, bettering your education. You have other priorities right now, and that's okay. Society places love seemingly somehow on the top as at the same time as, like, financial success, but it's not. Yes. I feel the same way, Oneko. It's the ultimate validation, you know? That someone likes you for who you are, you know, warts and all. But then we have to ask ourselves, why does this have to be a romantic relationship? Is the friendship not the same? Do your friends not love you despite all of your negative traits? You know how you chew really loudly? I'm not saying that you do, and just an example. Or you have one of those really terrifying sneezes that scares the shit out of everybody? Are you less worthwhile in your friend's eyes than in your romantic partner's eyes? Why? Because they want to fuck you? What does that have to do with how worthwhile they think you are as a human being? You have one of those terrifying sneezes, don't you, Weeby? Yes, you do. Bitch, I'm your friend. Senpai Raid! Naruto Senpai Raid! Is Rever VT, thank you so much for the follow. Howdy, y'all. Thank you so much. Oh, Senpai. You really did Uno reverse card me. It's going good. We're talking about ways to get rid of loneliness. How are y'all doing today? Oh, and Weeby, thank you for shouting them out. But, hey Raiders and Senpai, we reached 100. So we got a super special surprise. Exactly, Aiden. If your homie don't screw you, is he your homie? But for y'all, all y'all join in. Sorry for everyone who's been around here. I'm gonna briefly rush through the first few steps on how to get rid of loneliness. Because since y'all are kind of coming in at this, this is a good exercise to do throughout a week to help rid yourself of, you know, the negative feelings of, like, isolation and loneliness. So, day number 1, you check in with yourself. You just spend that whole day. You do regular shit, you know. You go out or don't go out, but just always kind of in the back of your mind keep note of how you're feeling and when you're feeling certain things. And that's all you do. Just spend that day thinking a little bit extra about your emotions. Next day, yeah, that's why I added go out in 2020. Yeah, unlikely. Next day, spend just a few moments kind of enjoying the present moment. Sensory pleasures are often really help. So the example is like a cup of coffee. You know, you have a cup of coffee in the morning, just take a step back, you know? Just smell it. Let the aroma kind of waft around you. Feel the warmth of the coffee in your hand. And just enjoy that. 30 seconds, a minute. Just let everything go and enjoy the smell and the feeling of a warm cup of coffee in your hand. After that, we get to the real hard work, where you're going to fight your inner bully. You're going to take those negative thoughts, and you're going to punch them in the face and going to tell them that they're wrong. So, you're going to take these negative thoughts that you have, and you're going to give them a reality check. So, being like, I'm stupid. You have that thought, and then you're like, whoa, hold up. I graduated college. Or, I get pretty good, decent grades. That doesn't sound like a stupid person to me. Pretty sure I would have, I don't know, not gotten to this point if I was stupid. Or, I'm the worst person ever. Being like, well, hold up. You really think you are the worst person to ever have graced this planet? Homie, really? So you gotta take these thoughts and bring them out into the light and look at them a bit deeper. Because they don't really hold up to snuff once you do that. And then Saturday, everyone's still talking about fucking their homies, I see. But we were also talking about how people, a common negative self-thought is, well, why don't I have a significant other? You know? I am not a worthwhile person if I don't have a significant other. How do you block that thought? Well, the important thing to realize is that another person is never going to complete you, you know? Another person can't fix all your problems. Another person can't heal you of what you are suffering with. And the reason why we're talking about screwing your homies is because why do we think so much emphasis on romantic relationships? And Oneko pointed it out, it is because it is the ultimate form of validation, you know? It means that someone loves you for all of you, despite all of the, you know, the warts and all. Someone loves you. But if that's your concern, then are you saying that your friends don't love you despite all your negative faults? Do your friends not think you are a worthwhile person as much as someone that you slept with would? Do you not matter as much to your friends just because you don't fuck them? So that's why we were talking about that, and apparently kissing your homies before you go to bed, because having a romantic relationship isn't the most important thing in life, despite what society tells us. Right? I mean, sure, you wanna get laid, then you wanna get laid. That's simple enough. But the idea that you have to have a relationship, one, at all times, and two, have it be the most damn important thing in your life, it just isn't true. This may surprise you, but there have been people all throughout history who never had a significant other, who never got married, never did any of that shit. Because you don't need because you don't need someone to complete you. And yeah, exactly. So just because your best homie doesn't sleep with you doesn't mean he cares about you just as much as your girlfriend does. Really? The homie who would jump in front of a bullet for you doesn't care about you as much? I think we often overlook friendships as like, oh yeah, you know, having friends is great, but like, what matters is having a romantic relationship. A romantic relationship is just a friend you fuck, okay? That's really all there is. They find you sexually attractive. And that's understandable, senpai. But unfortunately, oh no, this song does not go with this. Oh hell no, no. Give me back that soft music. Hold on, I will answer senpai's question in a second. Hold on, I gotta fix the mood though. As much as God knows I wish that's what relationships were about. Society and Hollywood has lied. They have lied to you. Right? They have created this idealized picture of what a relationship should be. That it's relinquishing yourself to another person. In no relationship, ever, should you give up yourself, give up your autonomy, give up your being fully to another person. Your partner is not meant to complete you. They are not meant to ascend you to some better purpose where you, I don't know, become like the best relationship of all time. What it is just two people who care about each other and want to spend time with each other. You don't have to devote yourself completely to someone. You don't have to, give up everything for your one true love. You don't have to abandon all you were and all you used to be in order to pursue love. If you have to give up part of yourself, part of who you are, to be in a relationship with someone, that person doesn't love you for who you are. What a relationship is, it's two human beings with faults, with problems, with messes and baggage of their own, coming together and deciding, hey, I want to try and work this out with you. And really, what's more beautiful than that? Exactly. By completely relinquishing yourself and putting all these expectations onto another person, it's setting yourself up for a very toxic and potentially abusive relationship. Yes, exactly. Exactly as Senpai said, so often in the romantic media that we see, it is by giving up some part of yourself. Often, women giving up a mode of autonomy, whether it's like their job, very often you see, or a guy has to, give up his friends because they're a bad influence or whatever. Or because she doesn't like them, or because he spends too much time with them. You shouldn't be having to sacrifice part of who you are for another person. Your partner is supposed to is to help you become a better you. Yes, delete my knowledge of society. But, I'm gonna try and reiterate because I messed it up a little bit. Your partner isn't supposed to make you be a better person. Your partner is supposed to help you become a better person. You're the one doing the heavy lifting, my friend. But they are there to support you in that journey. And that is what a relationship should be about. It shouldn't be... Well, I mean, in the short term, yes, making yourself better for them is a good thing. But ultimately, you should be making yourself better for yourself. But that's not an easy thing to do. And often, self-improvement starts by being, I want to be better for them. And then that leads into, I want to be better for myself. So, it's not a completely bad thing, obviously. It's just like, the ideal is you want to improve for yourself. You know? But sometimes, that's not enough motivation. sometimes you need that external motivation. You need to be like, being like, you know what, I'm okay with being shitty. You know what, fuck it, I hate myself anyways. But them, I care about them. They deserve better, so I need to be better. I think that's pretty okay. The point is that you are striving for that improvement, and along the way, hopefully you see that it's not about just making their life better, but it's about making your life better too. But unfortunately, just society and, and Hollywood and the culture we have just creates this unattainable ideal of what a romantic relationship should be that only ends up disappointing everybody. Yeah, exactly. And I briefly talked about, it's okay if you haven't been in a relationship in a long time, because there are other things that are more important than a relationship. Maybe you've been focusing on your career. Oh, thank you. Hope you're doing well, Drago. Maybe you've been focusing on improving yourself. Oh! Leo, DVTube, thank you so much for the follow. Dishing out some real life advice. Okay, look. Sometimes I struggle with the words, with the wording of words. Speaking is difficult sometimes. Well, I would certainly hope that's what you're here for. I'm pretty sure that's the channel you followed. Hi, Brookie! Oh, look at everyone just stopping by now. Hope y'all are having a good day. You just missed my super motivational speech about how you are a good enough person on your own and you don't need someone else to complete you. Because you're beautiful the way you are. Oh, I know. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. Gonna get comfy. Not needing someone to complete you doesn't mean you need to oof up in a shack by yourself. Hey. Wait, how long ago was college? I think it's been four or five for me. But the important thing is that society tells us that, having a romantic relationship is the most important thing in someone's life. And spoiler alert, it's not. What's important is what makes you happy. Finding a romantic partner doesn't need to always be like the number one to-do on your list. Like, it's okay to have, not have a relationship in that time. It's okay to be focusing on something else. Whether it's your career, whether it's your education, whether it's self-improvement. Yeah, and it's okay if you've never even been in one at all. how many and how few relationships you have does not reflect on whether you are, one, a worthwhile human being, or two, whether you are a worthwhile romantic partner for someone in the future. So, you've had, like, say you have had 2 relationships, but Bob over there, Bob has had 7. Wow. Bob must know what he's doing. Bob has no fucking idea what he's doing. Not any more than you do. Those relationships, 3 months each. Never gone over. You were in a relationship for like a year and a half. And even if you weren't, does that mean Bob is better? How? Why? You're just as good as Bob. I saw that YouTube. I saw your tweet. I think it was a tweet. But Leo, don't worry about that. That's actually oh man, now we're going into dream psychology. That's a really common phenomenon. Bob drives a fucking Honda Pilot, okay? He doesn't drive a Ferrari. He drives a Honda Pilot. That's his dad's car. He pretends it's his. Dreams often recycle people who have had a very large emotional impact on you. X obviously would be a very big one. They show up like pretty frequently. Like the first boyfriend I ever had in 5th grade shows up in my dreams, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? I haven't seen you since like middle school. What? I haven't thought about you in God knows how long. But your brain recycles and just puts people into think of it like a puzzle. And so whatever part that is in your dream, you're basically, your brain is like, yo, okay, I'm looking for someone who emotionally hurt me. Can I get an X? And then it puts the X there. Instead, did your dad emotionally hurt you? Put the dad in there then. So, don't worry about it too much. That's common. So is I have reoccurring dreams of my Latin teacher from high school yelling at me. Yes, of dreams of being in high school again are the worst. But don't worry too much about dreams, right? People either completely write off dreams and say, worthless, brain poop, doesn't matter. Or the other people who were like, I saw 2 butterflies in my dream. That means I'm gonna meet 2 people and they're gonna be, or whatever. So, there is some importance and there is some message and symbolism in dreams, because dreams are how your brain processes, 1, events that had happened in the day before, and 2, deeper thoughts that are kind of dwelling in your subconscious. So, half of your dream is probably just garbage, nonsense, but then there is like a little grain of truth in it somewhere. But y'all don't need to worry too much about your dream. I once had a dream, it's the weirdest dream I've ever had, about Elle from Death Note drowning in a giant bowl of minestrone soup. And y'all gonna tell me that? Okay, well, maybe that does say something about me. the important part of dreams is milk. No. Milk would be semi-normal. It was minestrone soup. But the important thing to look for in dreams is reoccurring themes. Are all of your dreams centered around, losing a loved one, being rejected, stress, like being put in an unfamiliar environment, being chased? Those are the important things that dreams can sometimes tell you, because those tell you, like, these are issues that keep coming up in my brain that my brain is needing to, like, go over. The specifics of what happened in the dream, not as important. Yes, yeah. Ooh, nice. Thank you for stopping by, Evie. Thank you. Yeah, sure. We kind of, let me just, finish off this thing, and then I guess we're delving into I'm dissecting y'all's dreams now. Oh, right. Whoop-a-jam! We got a Discord now, Evie! Join us. No, I mean, the entire chat we were talking about dreams. So, just to finish this up, after you finish defeating your Shadow Realm version of yourself, what the next day you should do is reach out, but on your terms. What your like, how much social contact would you like? Like, do you want to, like, FaceTime with someone? Go on a phone call? Or do you just want to, like, casually, like, text with someone? Just maybe a few words. So, something that would just, whatever is within your comfort zone. And then on Sunday, drop off a message. I've said this before, and this is always a really good way to help reconnect and to build relationships with others when you are feeling lonely or isolated, because you had already built these connections. By reaching out to someone you already know, all it takes is just, that short period of time it takes to catch everything, to catch up on everything. But that base connection is already there. And so it's a really easy way to build up and to fulfill a connection need that you're having. So then on Sunday, just drop off a message for someone you haven't talked to in a while. And then Monday, boom, you did it. You can I scroll to the you bye-byed loneliness. You did it. You have defeated the lonely. Alrighty. Let's scoot me back into the middle. Oh Jesus. Okay. Let's just chill out, and there we go. It's all cleaned up now. I see. Okay, but like, what's the dream? Is it like you being in a relationship with him? Yep, okay, that's what I thought. Okay. So, obviously, I'm not a fortune seer. So I can't tell you what it means. I can just give you, like, ideas. But most likely, it is that you still have some, like, remnant feelings for him. And that is normal, really, honestly. It's the idea that, like, oh, well, once, like, I start dating someone else, like, all of your previous feelings and crushes just completely disappear isn't how it works. Yeah, exactly. You had a crush on him for years. And having, like, remnant feelings for someone doesn't mean you love Dave any less. Like, this may surprise people. Your heart is big enough for more than one person. And it's often something like if you think of, like, your heart as like a pie chart, which is really weird, but, like, what, I don't know if you said his name, but I'm gonna call him Bob because I call everybody Bob. Before you met Dave, Bob took up like 15% of your heart pie chart. But now the years have faded. Bob takes up like 2%. Bob isn't completely gone. People that you've cared about never, like, completely leave you, you know? People, there is always a remnant of someone stays behind because they affected the person you became today. So there will always be, like, a fragment of an emotion, whether it's a good emotion or a bad emotion. Your relationship, or rather lack thereof, with him influenced who you are today and how you love today. That doesn't mean you're hung up over him. That doesn't mean you're like, I need Bob. I can't live without Bob. It just means that Bob played an important part in your love life. It's not a matter of whether he made you a better or worse person. It's just a matter that he affected you. Oh, thank you. Aw, Neko. Yeah, not gonna lie, him following you home, that's pretty fucking creepy. That gives me no vibes. But I briefly said it to the other homies in chat. He was just like, hey. That's so fucking creepy. Oh, okay. So you were hanging out and then he followed you home? I thought you hadn't seen him in years and then all of a sudden one day he just followed you home. But I told the homies earlier in chat, sometimes my first boyfriend from 5th grade shows up in my dreams. I don't think that means that I secretly am still in love with the, what, 8-year-old boy who held my hand at a country dinner dance. But that was my first relationship, and that had an effect on me. You know? That was my first time holding hands with somebody. Sorry, I illegally hydrated. Don't you give me that thinking emoji. Oh, well, thank you. Now, we have evened out the hydrate balance. No, it's totally normal. The dreams that we often have are really confusing to us personally because we're emotionally invested in them. But sometimes by just telling them to another person, can, you know, turn out to be kind of easy or simple. Okay, why is my body turned? Alright, who wants to go next? That's okay. I'm glad I was able to dissect your dream. Overwatch? I will admit, parental dreams are a lot more complicated. That's a mood also, snack. Thank you, and thank you for the lurk. Alright. If no one has any, dreams that they would like me to try and decipher, I suppose I could return to the very beginning of the stream and answer poor Citron's question. Oh, Caller Fist, thank you so much for the follow. Wait, did the sound not go off on that one? I didn't hear any sound for that. What is happening? What is hip happening? Mwah. Well, I'm sorry you didn't get the little chime. Calorfist. There should have been. More illegal hydrating. Oh, Citron, you're still here. You have patiently been waiting like 3 hours for me to answer your question. Oh, well, thank you for dropping by, Senpai, and thank you so much for the raid. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Of course I remember. I would return, but my emojis, my emote still hasn't been approved. I'm gonna have to get on Twitch's ass again. Alright. Now, if I am remembering, if my neck would stop breaking. Hey, neck. Unbreak. Unbreak. Thank you. Alright. If I remember your question correctly, you were curious about how isolation and loneliness affect people with antisocial personality disorder, and what else? Antisocial personality, and that emote is a mood. Oh, and avoidant personality disorder. So it is no problem, Cheyenne. We do talk a lot about ADHD. So the complicated thing is, I'll start with antisocial. It depends on the types. Yeah, that makes sense. Antisocial, it depends on whether they are portraying I am using these terms strictly in the psychological medical sense, not in like the common everyday vernacular. It depends on whether they are portraying psychopathic or sociopathic symptoms and tendencies, because people who are displaying, depending on which type they are displaying, will affect whether or not they actually... Ooh. Okay, how am I gonna go about this? Yeah, it's the... Whoa, why am I blushing? That was weird. Okay, let me see if I can bring this up, because I think this will be helpful for people who don't know a lot about... Yeah, I randomly did the, my emote randomly. Okay, let's do this one. Alright, this, I think, should provide a pretty decent understanding for people who are not familiar with antisocial personality disorder. Oh, it cover all of me. Okay. Scoot me on over here. Now, the important thing is people who have antisocial personality disorder are not psychopaths or sociopaths. They just display some of these tendencies, either one over the other. So, the difference is, so psychopathic, or psychopaths, is genetically predisposed, while a sociopath is often more environmentally influenced. Psychopaths lack the ability to feel empathy and guilt, often have very... charming personalities, are very manipulative, very cunning, and that enables them to have higher job success. Sociopaths can feel empathy and guilt. This often causes them to have very erratic behavior, and that often leads them to struggle to find and keep jobs. People with antisocial personality disorder, as you can see, are in the middle. So they have some psychopath and some sociopath traits. But the important thing, as you can see the second, they can form social relationships. Psychopaths cannot form social relationships, okay? they don't care about other people. They don't have the ability to feel empathy, to really care about another person other than themselves. Sociopaths can, but often in a very unhealthy way. So what matters is if the person with antisocial has more psychopath or sociopathic tendencies. Obviously, if they have more psychopath tendencies, isolation and may not really affect them as much. They may not feel lonely as much because they struggle to feel and connect with people on an emotional level. Yes. Sociopath, I suppose, would be 𝒮𝓬𝓬𝓲𝓪𝓵𝑒s. Yes, I do know Ted Bundy. But as for if they have more sociopathic tendencies, the loneliness might affect them a lot more deeply. But as for the way that they react to it, they already have a basis of erratic behavior. So theirs is... I suppose the most likely situation would be is that I mean, yes, but the fact that they will inflict harm on people puts them in one of these. Yeah, no, obviously, psychopaths are genetically predisposed. They don't choose to be like this. There are just not really any treatments available for these kind of people. And there's also confusion. There's a difference between being a psychopath and being psychotic, right? Those two aren't related to each other, at all. And really, they only make up less, like, I think 0.01% of the population. And the fact that probably 0.0001 ever, inflict harm on other people. Yeah. And obviously, people who fall into these categories don't just get, sociopath, written on, their prescription, and they're like, oh yeah, everyone just let them know that they're, that they fall into this category. But there are people who specialize in this kind of thing. And I do not, I just have a generalized knowledge. But I suppose the overarching idea is that someone who leans more towards the psychopath probably is less likely to struggle with feelings of loneliness, or in a lesser capacity. So they might feel lonely, but it might not be oh man, I wish someone was here. Oh well. To that level of surface. While someone who is has more sociopathic qualities probably often more feels loneliness in the sense that they struggle to create, or rather probably struggle to maintain connections with other people due to their erratic behavior and due to their sometimes volatile emotional state. So I would probably say that the main way it affects them is that people with antisocial who have sociopathic tendencies want to create meaningful relationships with other people, but struggle to do so, and that causes them to feel severely lonely. While that may be less so, or less pronounced in people who have more psychopath characteristics. As for avoidant, excuse me, this is really difficult. Because the main thing is, by having avoidant personality disorder doesn't mean that you don't want to have meaningful connections with people, you know? It's the easiest way I could explain it, especially to people who don't know much about it, is like, think of them as an extreme, introvert, right? They prefer being by themselves. They get anxious when they're around other people, when they're with people for an extended period of time. Stuff like that is the easiest way, I think, for like a lay person to understand. And similarly, people with avoidant personality disorder, they don't want it. One, they don't like being around people in general, but that doesn't mean they don't crave that, like a meaningful emotional connection with someone. It just means that they don't always want it to be either in person, or they're more interested in the kind of, it might be hard for people to understand who are like extroverted, but like, they want like someone to like be there, like physically be there in the room with them, but like not interact with them. If that makes any sense. Like, they each do their own thing, and they're not interacting with each other, but they occupy the same space. And that can help dissuade, one, the anxiety of having to interact with someone, because they are, preoccupied by doing their own thing. But at least, then physically having another human being in the room. Yeah, that seems like a lot. I mean, obviously I don't know enough about your situation, but I think that most likely the separation anxiety and the abandonment issue led to the creation of avoidant personality characteristics, in order to prevent yourself, in order to like stave off abandonment by just being like, nah, I don't, people are whatever, who wants people? But then you're secretly like, I want people, please. Also, fear of abandonment, big mood. That is a big mood. But yeah, no, that's people who have a like fear of abandonment also often become very introverted, because they fear reaching out to someone and then being abandoned by them, but they still want that connection, but they're just so afraid of being abandoned again, they are unable to make those connections. While people who might have like antisocial personality don't really care as much about having those relationships. Exactly, yeah. You're like, I don't want to ever be hurt like that again, so I'll just never speak to anyone ever. People don't exist now. But we are, obviously, other than people who have antisocial personality disorder and sociopath which have a genetic component, as human beings, we all crave connection and interaction with each other. We are social animals. So, unless there is a specific genetic or chemical reason as to why, everyone wants to have another person, to have like a friend, to develop meaningful connections with another person. It's just whether or not the fear outweighs that. Exactly. Don't give up. And that can be really difficult, and it's okay to let yourself sit and kind of process that rejection. Because that's what just being like, oh, it's okay, you know what, whatever, I don't care, is what leads to rebound relationships, which don't work well for most people. So the message is to sit, let yourself feel disappointed, let yourself feel sad that it didn't work out. But then be like, okay, well, you know what? This one didn't work, but the next one will. But the next one might, or whatever. It's once that fear of it occurring again becomes paralyzing, that it becomes an issue, because then it prevents you from moving forward. Where would it be? I actually have a very apt quote that could appear on like the quote machine. But I don't remember how many there are, so it's probably just easier for me to grab it from the quote machine than to spam quote in the chat. Excuse me. Oh, my throat. Where'd it go? Quotes. Whoa, my model flipped, didn't it? No? Am I back? What? Did I do the thing again? Did I do the thing again? It looks like I did the thing again. Or I wigged out. I went bye-bye. Ah, here it is. I'm gonna drop it just in chat too, but our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. You'll never succeed if you don't try. Oh, here's another good one. May have been an asshole, but he's got good quotes. Yeah, this one I find to be really helpful too is that many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. I think this might be, maybe. Maybe it is indeed. But ah, Rocky. Yeah, that was a great scene. The Pope one also is pretty accurate. Concern yourself not with what you tried and failed, but with what is still possible for you to do. The Rocky Balboa one? Grabbing it right now. Oh, excuse me. I don't think the Rambo movies were ever really meant for the focus to be on the story. Oh, did that answer your question, Citron? Or was there, did I leave anything out? Oh, well, I'm glad I was able to answer it. Well, if, does anyone else have any questions? Otherwise, suppose we could head off. If I have filled your heads with enough knowledge for today. Oh, thank you, Neko. It's very kind of you. Oh, don't leave yet. We gotta raid somebody. And we have a command, so y'all can, we don't have to, like, wait on Weeby to type it. Oh, right. Cheyenne. Are you living in a dorm? Who... Might be apartment, just me. Well, because of coronavirus... Yeah, but we've raided Rio before. Who do you have in mind, Snack? With coronavirus, Cheyenne, I really think maintaining connections and talking with people online is going to be the main way. Rachichu? Okay, I'm sorry, but we gotta do Rachichu. Since we can't do social interactions, I'm thinking that, you know, through Twitter, Twitch, Discord, whatever, or texting your friends is the best way to maintain your social interactions. Otherwise, see if you can maybe get the phone numbers of a few of your fellow classmates, and instead of meeting up with them, having like a group chat that you can talk with about like the class or whatever are your best options. But right now, for being in school, it's going to be very, very difficult. Yeah, if it's her first episode, it's the least we can do. Especially since she comes over here and supports. Yeah, and calling your family is a great idea. Even if you, only talk for a few minutes. Just maybe doing like a phone call checkup. Maybe like once every few days or once a week is a great way to be able to maintain social connections when you're feeling very isolated. Maybe she has one less viewer than Rio, so we've rated Ryu once before, and we can do her again. But this is Rachi's first episode of her stream interviews, so I think it would be nice that since she stopped by and hangs out in my therapy streams that we debut of like a new segment. She's doing like a new series where she interviews fellow VTubers. Yeah, and y'all can type !raid to get the raid message, and then just copy that, and then we can yeehaw on over there. And if y'all missed me dropping the Discord link, I am going to be posting it on Twitter and adding it to my my profile on Twitch, and I'll be adding a command too, so you can do !Discord. That was the first time you heard me say yeehaw? Yeehaw. Yee to the haw. Are y'all ready to yeehaw on over there? Alrighty. We ride to war! Everyone prepare your yeehaws! Go, go, go! We're gonna yeet! Go, go! Release the yeehaws! Charge! Into the sunset!